Hi ladies, I hope you're doing well tonight. This video is a pre-recorded video. This will be our November 6th regular card class. So hopefully you are able to hear me and hopefully everything works, that I can get it all scheduled and posted correctly. So our first card for tonight, will be using this gorgeous gold foil, and the way it opens is simply that. It just folds on that little bend, and then your message is shown. So let's get started with our first card. You will have a greeting. You are going to have a pine cone that we're going to layer. You will have two pine sprigs, the gold oval, a rectangular piece that is 3/4 by 5 1/4, and then two other pieces, cardstock and the pattern paper, along with our card base. So let's get started. I am going to fold on the first score line, which is at 3 1/4 inches. So that's this first score line. So you are going to fold that. Use your bone folder to get a nice crispy edge. We are not going to fold the last one. We don't want to break that seal quite yet. So let's get ourselves ready, and we are going to put the 3 by 5 1/4 inch cardstock piece down first. And I'm just going to center that on my base like so, and then I'm going to take that 3/4 inch by 5 1/4 inch piece, and that is going to go in this open space where the other score line is. So I'm going to put this on, try to line it up the best that I can so that the top and the bottom match the top and the bottom of the acorn that was already used. Now we're going to use this beautiful paper. This is close to my heart paper. Now if you prefer to use this dark green, go right ahead. That's your choice. I am going to use the softer side, and I just want to see direction. Yeah, it's not a super directional piece, so you might want to just twist and turn until you get it to the way you like it. Next, I'm going to take the gold piece. Now the gold needs to be adhered onto this 3/4 inch side. So I'm going to lay it upside down so that I can see right where my score line is, and I'm going to use a little bit of score tape to put this down. I'm just going to turn my card so that I have a little more ability to see without putting my head into the camera. So you want to be careful where you're putting your adhesive. So you can use your tape runner as long as it's like very, very strong. I don't think mine would be strong enough, so that is why I used the score tape. So now I'm going to peel that off. I didn't get it all the way. All right, let's varnish it a little bit more. Now let's see if it'll come off. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, so now I know I need to put it right about there, and I think I'm pretty set. I didn't smoosh it down all the way, so I look like I'm pretty well centered top and bottom of my card. Okay, now I'm going to press that down. I'm going to give it a little varnish with my bone folder. And now we're going to test it out. So now I can bring, there we go, see? And now you can score that line or varnish that line so that it's a little easier for the recipient to open it up. All right, so now let's get back to the fun part, the decorating. So my sentiment, I am going to do a dovetail on the left-hand side near the word Christmas. So I'm just going to cut in the center, cut from the bottom corner to my center. I'm going to turn it over so that I can go from that bottom corner again to the center, just so that I have a nice dovetail. And that looks good. I like it. All right, we are going to put down the 2 evergreens first, and then the sentiment will go over. All right, so let's do the larger evergreen. This metallic paper is just like a mirror. So I'm going to do the larger of the evergreen. Okay. I'm going to place that right there, and I'm just going to hold it for a second just so that I know it's being absorbed into that shiny paper. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to do the smaller of the 2 evergreens. I'm just hoping that mine are in the same order as yours. I think they are. I think I put them in my basket the same way I put them into your bags. I'm just holding this again so that the glue can't adhere to the gold foil. Okay, while we're waiting for that to absorb, we are going to put together our little pine cone. And this, you don't need a ton of adhesive. I'm just finding where there's chunky openings. And then I'm going to put it on top of the solid image. And of course it wiggled on me, so it's okay. I'm just gonna press and hold for a little bit longer. There we go. All right, so now my sentiment, let's just double check, because I think there is a teeny tiny bit of foam tape. And the foam tape is going to be behind the acorn, or the pine cone, not my sentiment. So my sentiment, I do want roughly there, and then the pine cone. So we're gonna need to do a little shimmy, shimmy, shimmy. Okay, because your banner is a bit longer than what you need, so I need to re-dovetail mine. All right, let's re-dovetail that. There we go. Because I was not going to have enough room for the pine cone. And I want that pine cone. There we go. All right, so now let's see, will we have enough room? Yes, yes we will. All right, so I'm going to put the Christmas greetings on next, but what you want to remember is you only want adhesive underneath, like where the word greeting is, and a little bit of the moss because if you go off, then you're going to be sealing the card completely. And we don't want to seal the card, because then the recipient won't be able to get inside to see the beautiful message that you have sent. So this I am going to do a little bit of both of adhesives. So I'm going to go right about there. Let's make sure that, yep, okay, my pine cone will hold. I'm just going to hold it for a moment. And then we're going to put a little bit of foam on the back of the pine cone. And I am using thin 3D foam tape because I don't want a ton of dimension on this. So now I'm going to put my pine cone. I'm going to have to probably do a little wiggle. There we go. There we go. And then it would open like so. Isn't that clever? I found that one, I think, on Pinterest. So that is card number 1. Let's mosey on to card number 2. All right, so card number 2 is going to be using another gold oval. Now this oval is actually cut when you cut out the oval from the first card. It is a layered die. It is from Stampin' Up. So is the bird and these 2 sprigs of holly. So let's pull out our pieces. You will have 3 gold gems. You are going to have your sentiment that says Merry Christmas, and again, this was a die from Stampin' Up. We have our bird. You should have 2 sprigs that you're going to color in a moment. We have the gold oval. We have a 3 3/4 by 5 red polka dot. Now, if you prefer to use the other side, you can totally go right ahead and do that. You have birds on that. You have those sprigs on there. I just felt that the red was very calming. And then we have a piece of pine that is 4 by 5 1/4, and then your card base. So let's fold our card base first. And I'm going to give it a nice crispy edge. And then I'm going to put my pine down first. And I'm just going to center this onto my card base. And now we're going to do the red as well. And then we're going to do the oval. Okay, and the oval will be put on with liquid glue. Okay, and you're going to center that on the red. Isn't that pretty? It's so, so pretty. And then this is the gold foil paper from Stampin' Up. It's so shiny and pretty. Oh my goodness. Okay, we are going to color our bird first. So our bird is going to be in the muted brown. Now I'm going to use the lightest for the bird's beak. And his eyeball. Now I'm going to go to the medium or the mid, and I'm going to color everything on the bird. Our next card class will be the beginning of December. If there is a specific topic you would like for cards to be designed for the year of 2026, please put that into the comments. I am working on the calendar as we speak. So if there is something that you're like, oh, we really should have a topic of friendship cards or thinking of yous or sympathy, whatever your thought is, please let me know so that then I'm able to design for you. I'm going back to that light so that I could do the bird's feet. And now I'm going to the dark. And with the dark, I'm going to go over the lines of the bird. I'm going to use that little hollowing section. And I'm going to kind of outline my bird in this dark. Probably should do a little bit of where these berries are on that twig that's in the bird's mouth. And then I'm still going to use that dark brown for the log or the branch that the bird is sitting on. Okay, and now we're going to do the berries, and the berries are going to be in the dark red, and I'm using dark red light for the berries. Okay, that is our bird. So I'm going to set that aside, and now I'm going to pull in the two sprigs because I can kind of work simultaneously on this. I'm going to do the berries first, and I'm still using that same real red. Now this stamp set of the sprigs and the berries, and the bird I mean, are well, they were a Stampin' Up. They are no longer available, but they are so pretty. Okay, and I'm going to do the berries on the other one. Might as well do two at the same time. Now if you don't have markers, you can use colored pencils, whatever you have or that is your favorite medium for coloring. Okay. Next, I'm going to go to Alpine Green, and I'm going to go between all three of the shades. So for the soft little spriggy leaves, I'm going to do the lightest color because they're a little airier. And then the other ones, I'm going to go between the medium and the dark. Okay, let's see. We have another little spriggy one right there. And by coloring these at the same exact time, it's just going to help to go faster. Okay, I believe that's all of those on that one. Now let's do the other one. The beauty of this video being pre-recorded, you will be able to pause me at any given time. So if I went a little bit too fast for you, you will be able to put me on pause. I cannot talk and color at the same time. Okay, now, here's one more right there. Got it. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to the medium, and I'm going to do all the rest of the leaves in the medium, and then a few of them I will be going over them with the dark. Especially these two that are by the bundle of berries. For this card, this is the hardest part, is the coloring. Only because it is a little bit more on the time-consuming spot. Okay, I'm going to stick with all of the medium before I switch to the dark. Okay, almost there. I guess I need to take a little class in photo editing or video editing so that I'd be able to edit some of this out for you and you would not have to watch all of this. Okay, so that is all the mediums. Now I'm going to go over with the dark for the lines. And that just makes our leaves come alive. Okay, we're going to do the other one. Almost there. There we go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to put foam on the back of both of our sprigs. And again, I'm just using my thin. And I buy mine in a big spool because I go through it like it's water. All right, so my first one, we are going to put it right at the top. And then our Merry Christmas will get tucked underneath. That is why I only did in the centers of the sprig. So I'm going to put that down first, just like that. And now I'm going to take the Merry Christmas and use my tape runner. And it is going to get tucked underneath these branches. Just like that. Isn't that pretty? And then we're going to pretty much do the same exact thing down here at the bottom. We're going to just do foam in the center so that we're able to tuck the bird in. So I'm going to put this one down at the bottom on the gold ring. And now for my bird, I am going to add a little bit of foam, like where his head is and a little bit where the berries are. And then I will use just regular adhesive for the bottom, like where his tail is, where the little branch is that he's sitting on. There we go. Just making sure that the foam is small enough that it cannot be seen. And now I'll just do a little bit of tape runner down at that bottom part. I'm going to peel the backing off the foam. And we're going to tuck him in right down here, just like so. And then his little tail goes over the edge of the branch. Isn't that adorable? That's so pretty. Okay. Oops, we still have gems to add. Whoopsie daisy. Okay, I'm going to add a very large gem. My large gold is going to get tucked near the bird on the left-hand side, so near his backside. And then you're going to have two smalls, and I'm going to put one small at the end of the banner that says Merry Christmas, and then I will do the other small above that banner. So it's going to go above up here. Just like that. Now this card is officially done. Alrighty, moseying on to card number 3. Card number 3 is this beautiful card with that gorgeous gold. Now this gold paper is still available, so you could get that paper if you wanted. And then this card is going to flip up. You could probably put it this way. You're just going to have to go shorter with your threads. Okay, so let's get ourselves started. You will have gold thread, more than what you need for the 2 baubles. Now if you're like, I am not dealing with that thread, you can use a gold foil marker. That would work as well. You are going to have your little sentiment of all is merry. We have 3 white sparkled gems. You will have 2 gold toppers for the ornaments. You're going to have your 2 ornaments. Now your ornaments may not look like mine. It's just where the paper fell is at how much or how little gold you got. Okay, you are going to have a scallop that's going to go over one of them. I think I'm going to put mine on my green because there's a little less gold on the green. And then we have 3 3/4 by 5 for a white gold piece or an ivory gold piece. And then you're going to have your 4 by 5 1/4 red. And this red is real red. Okay, so I'm going to close mine. Now, I did do a boo-boo in stamping, and I'm okay with that. I'm just going to be covering it anyway, so it's fine. So I am going to put my real red on first. And that will cover up that sentiment with no problems. So don't even, I mean, you see a shadow of it on the inside, nobody's going to recognize that. Okay, I'm going to set this aside because what we need to do next would be to build our 2 ornaments with the gold floss. So first things first, I'm going to put my scallop gold piece on. And like I said, I am going to put this on my green only because my green ornament does not have a ton of gold flecks. So it's going to go on that one, and I think I'm going to go just like that then on the placement of my gold paper. And this has more gold this way, so I want that to be my top. Now I'm going to take my ribbon, or it's not ribbon, it's thread, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of it, and then I'm going to snip, just like that. Now I'm going to do the same, however I'm not snipping this time. I'm going to work off the back of my ornament, and I'm going to put some tape runner right there at the top, and I'm going to press the thread into that adhesive. So it's just like so. I'm going to do the same thing with the green. I'm going to put a little bit up here, grab my green or my gold thread, and then I'm going to press those little tails right there. Alright, let's just double check. Did I foam tape this? Yes, I did. Okay, so we're going to put some foam on the back of our ornaments. And again, I'm just using my 3D foam. And if you put a little bit over the thread, then it's not going to come apart on you. Okay. The reason we did not put the creamy gold piece down onto our real red yet is because we want to take these pieces and tuck it on the back. So I am going to do my red over here, and I'm going to be a little bit higher on that one. So I'm going to position this right about there. I'm going to do the same thing with my green now, and I'm going to let those overlap just a tiny bit. Whoops. And those are going to overlap like that. Now I'm going to turn this over. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive right there and right there. So then this piece of our gold thread is going to fold to the back. And I didn't get it. There we go. Now we've got it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing with that one. Oh, see, that one's going to be a little challenging. No big deal. And now I'm going to take just a little piece of my score tape. I'm not, well, you could peel it. Yeah, we could peel it off. I was going to say, I'm not going to peel it. I am going to peel it off. And I'm going to put another little piece down here too. Because now for sure I know it is going to be adhered and it's not going to come off. So I'm just going to peel that off just a tiny bit. Then we're going to put the regular adhesive and we're going to put this onto our real red. Okay, bring this back down. And I'm going to center that in my real red. And now we're going to put our little ornament bubbles. And for that, I am going to use some liquid glue. And I probably should use some tweezers because that really would help. There we go. Just a little bit of liquid glue, and that's going to go at the top of each ornament. just like that. This was a stamp and die from Stampin' Up! From last Christmas. All right, let's put a little bit of foam on our sentiment. And I will have this video posted both in the Facebook group and over on my YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe and leave me a comment over on the YouTube channel. I am trying to grow that. Okay, now we're going to put our gems. I am going to put the largest up here, and it's going to kind of be, you want to find it like a blank spot that doesn't have a ton of the gold. So I'm going to set it there. And mine really has a ton of gold, so I'm going to do a medium underneath my all is good, or my all is merry. You might want to do a little if you don't have a lot of gold above it. If you have a lot of gold, then I would do the little one. And I'm going to go, yeah, I kind of liked it right there. So you're just going to find 3 points of interest. So I put my large up here in a whiter spot, and then I did my medium down here, and then a small right there. So that is our third card. Isn't that fun? It's so pretty. And here comes the fun card. This is called a book binding card, because the way it opens is like that. This piece, we are going to be sealing it closed. So I'm going to pull out my parts. You will have a Santa, some green gems. Those are just random gems that are in my stash. I need to close up my liquid glue. You will have a Merry Christmas, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. You're going to have a green piece that is 1 by 4, a red plaid that is 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then you will have another green that is 4 by 4, and a red plaid that is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So let's begin building and assembling our card. So for this card, your center, which is your 5 1/2, which is right here, you want to fold that completely over. So it's basically, it is your half. It is the halfway point. And I'm just going to give it a crispy edge. Now you have one other score line, and for that, what we're going to do is you're going to fold it back. You're going to give it a crispy edge. But now we're going to open, and we're going to put some adhesive in that 1 1/4, I believe. Yes, 1 1/4 inch spot. We want to seal that up, and you want to seal it pretty good. So again, I am going to use my score tape as soon as I can find the beginning of it. There it is. So I'm just going to put a piece there. I like the score tape only because I can rip it with my fingers. It does not get my scissors all gooey and gunky like the red line tape. So I'm just going to varnish this in with my fingers to make sure that it closes. And now we're going to peel the backing off. You could use a liquid glue. You could use your tape runner if it's nice and strong. I mean, there's some that are very strong. And now I'm going to bring that back over. And I'm just going to make sure that all my ends meet together. And I'm going to seal that up. So now there is my card. Isn't that fun? Okay, we're going to put our green pieces down first. The 1x4 is going to go in that book binding section that we just sealed. And then I'm going to take my 4x4 and it is going to go on the other half of the flap. And I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, making sure that I have the top and the bottom meeting, and they do. And now we're going to put the plaid. The narrower one goes on the binding side, and then our square will go over the square piece. And again, just kind of make sure your top and your bottoms meet. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of foam on my Merry Christmas. And yes, I am watching a movie while I'm recording our video. Then we're going to do a little bit of coloring of our mugs. And I'm going to put my Merry Christmas towards the bottom because my little mugs are going to tuck inside. Just like that. And let's bring these in and we're going to do a little coloring. So I have fair skin and I'm going to use, I think the medium. No, let's start with the light and we can always work our way up. So I'm going to do Mrs. Claus. I'm going to start inside her glasses, above her glasses, the bridge of her nose, her other eyeball, and then underneath where you would see her mouth. So that is Mrs. Claus, and I'm going to do the same thing for Mr. I'm going to do his nose, and then I'm going to go above the beard where his eyes are. Just like so. And now I'm going to pull in earth brown for the coffee or the hot cocoa or whatever you want to call it. Santa is going to get the light, so that is going to be more of a hot cocoa. And that's that oval right above where near the rim. Now I'm going to use my medium, and Mrs. Claus is going to have a little bit of coffee in hers, so to speak. Just like that. And now I'm going to pull in my real red again, dark red, and Santa's rim of his cup is going to be red. And then I'm going to do the handle. The rest of Santa is going to be white because that is his beard, and that I'm going to use liquid pearl. You could use like diamond stickles so that it has a little more shine and shimmer to it. And now Mrs. Claus, I'm not going to do the top of hers because that's more, if you think about it, it's kind of like her top of her blouse. So like the collar of her blouse along with this little cute collar down here. So I am going to go, let's see, below all of this. And I think on the sample, oh, I colored right here red, not as her face. You could leave it as her face, or you could color it in red as if it was the rest of the mug. So where I'm not coloring the white portions, that is where I'm going to use my liquid pearl. And I know many of you have that in your stash. And if you don't, you could use stickles. You could use anything else that has a little bit of a texture to it. So like a texture paste or the old snowflake-ish markers. All right, I am going to put a little bit of foam on both of these. And then we're going to do a little tuck tuck. And then we have this all done. And the December class, that theme is fancy folds. So you do have a little more time to register for those. Your registration date and deadline is November 15th, because I will need a lot of time to do that because I have parent-teacher conferences. Our Tuesday night one, we are at school till 8:30 in the evening. And then our Thursday, we are at school till 7:10, followed by full days all week long. So please, 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 the sooner you know you want to take the class, the better, and get your payment in. Okay, so I added my 3 green gems. I did 2 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and now I'm going to use the white opal liquid pearl. I have stuff sticking to me. And I'm going to start with Mrs. Claus. And I'm just going to do the squeeze and drag method. So I'm squeezing and I'm dragging. I don't want it super thick or puffy. And then I'm going to do her collar down here, the cute little scallop collar. And then for Santa, we are going to do the bottom of the mug, which would be like his beard. And then we're going to do his mustache. And I am really concentrating here. And there we go. There is our 4th card. I hope you enjoyed your class tonight, and I will see some of you real soon for the crop on the 15th. Others of you, I hope you have a very nice Thanksgiving and hope to see you for our December class. Have a super evening.